Hey, what's up? This is Harry Wagner from Harry's Situations, and today I am out at the Logandale Trail System. So we're about an hour outside of Las Vegas. This area, as you can see, is beautiful. We're gonna cover not only where we're at, but when you would want to come visit, what to bring with you, where you can stay, and more. We spoke with the BLM Rec Planner for the area, and she recommended we start with a 13-mile loop to get the lay of the land and see what's out there. We're gonna do that now, so keep watching.
Logandale Trails has an area called the 13-mile loop for OHV, for razors, for motorcycles. Gives you a nice rounded area of what Logandale has to offer. You got rocky areas, sandy areas. It's a fun playground to have for all skill levels, and it's also a good beginner skill.
So we're in sand washes here, we're not in sand dunes, but it's still a good idea to have a flag so that people can see you coming. There is two-way traffic in these washes, but we saw several tour groups come through today. They all ran that 13-mile loop counterclockwise. We ran it that direction as well, but you still need to be aware of oncoming traffic. Now you might be wondering how to get to the Logandale Trail System. As the name suggests, we are near the town of Logandale. That's located about halfway between Las Vegas, Nevada and St. George, Utah, off of Interstate 15. So you get to Highway 169, you want to go south there, approximately 10 miles, that'll get you into Logandale. You'll see signs for the trail system. You want to take a right or to the west on Liston, that'll take you to Pioneer. Just keep following the signs. They recently paved the road, so even if you're towing, no big deal to access this area. Pretty easy and straightforward.
Logandale Trails is 15,420 acres, of which 15,300 of those acres are managed by the Bureau of Land Management. The rest of those acres are managed by the Nevada State Park of Valley of Fire, and a couple of acres are on private entity lands as well.
They actually recently paved the road into this area. That was done by the BLM in conjunction with Clark County and with the Nevada DOT. There's toilets here, there's a big parking and staging area, and you can unload right there and drop into the wash to start this 13-mile loop.
So Logandale Trails has over 99 miles of trails within it for both OHV, mountain biking, hiking, and then there's various areas you can go climbing. So it's just a great area. It's a nice little playground right here in the backyard of Las Vegas that we all get to come out and enjoy. So if by chance you did forget water or you're low on fuel, as you're coming through to Logandale Trails, you're going to pass the town of Logandale. Within 20 to 25 miles, there are some areas that you can pick up extra water, pick up some fuel, pick up firewood if you need it, because as you do camp out here, we ask that you leave any of the dead vegetation where it is on the ground, just because it looks like it's dead doesn't mean it's not useful, and then make sure when you leave that those campfires are cold. Services out here as far as cell phone service is also minimal. Some places you get great service, other places you will have none. So just know that communication can be iffy at best.
Now as you get the lay of the land in Logandale, you'll notice that the 13-mile loop is basically in a wash that goes around a rock formation. And the canyon I'm standing in right now and all the other canyons around here were essentially formed by flash flooding and water. So that is something you definitely want to be aware of. When it does rain, it can flash flood here, and the last place you want to be is in the bottom of a canyon. Now here in Nevada, if you're out on trails like this one and you're in something that's not a license plated vehicle or motorcycle, it's really important that you have OHV registration. So that could be for your UTV like this Polaris RZR, it could be a quad, a dirt bike, maybe you have a dune buggy, a sand car, a rock buggy, whatever it is, if you're taking it out on the trails and it doesn't have a license plate, you need Nevada registration. That's a pretty easy process. You go through it at the DMV just like you do with your vehicle. We'll put a link in the description to the website. It's super easy. You just do it by mail, get a VIN inspection, you need to have a bill of sale for your vehicle, and they'll issue you your initial registration. And those funds go right back into the OHV community.
here at Logandale Trails, that funding helped build both the bathrooms on both sites as well as the shade structures and the picnic tables and slabs.
Those were funded by one of the first Nevada OHV grants. This video you're watching right now, also funded with those dollars. They're used for all sorts of great projects, from trail maintenance, trail building, stewardship, education, and more. So make sure to register your OHVs. You might be wondering, when is the best time to come visit Logandale?
So the best times to visit Logandale is pretty much any time of the year.
I would say summertime is not the best time in my personal opinion. Triple-digit temperatures are pretty common out here, and there is not a lot of shade.
So we recommend in the summer months you come out earlier in the morning, but if you do come out any time of the year, please make sure you have plenty of water. That's one thing people don't bring enough of. First aid kit, helmets, just even if you're out here just for a day trip, plan as if you're going to camp.
We're filming in February, and as you can see, I'm wearing short sleeves. Fall is a nice time to be here. That's when the annual Hump and Bump is held by the Vegas Valley four-wheelers. Well, really, I think spring is prime time. So they got some precipitation here last week. You can see things have greened up a little bit around me. We've seen some desert primrose that's blooming, but really in about a month is prime blooming season for desert wildflowers. So if that's something that interests you, in addition to great daytime temperatures and really mild evening temperatures, I think spring is your best bet. Yesterday we were running at high speed in the UTV out in the washes, but today we're in the rocks, and I'm really getting like Moab, Sand Hollow vibes here in Logandale. Red rock, really high traction, similar to what you would find in those areas, and also narrow trails with just obstacle after obstacle. So we're standing on Bronco Falls, which is right next to Shredder Trail that we ran. These are actually a little bit to the north of the main rock formation that the 13-mile loop goes around. They're not inside that loop, but they're really close to where you stage. If you have a rock crawler, you don't have to go too far before you can shift into low range and lock your hubs and start having a lot of fun. The rock crawling trails in Logandale are pretty short and sweet. We actually walked them ahead of time to get an idea of whether it was a good idea for our UTV or not, and to kind of pick out my lines ahead of time as I went through the trail. There were bypasses for a couple obstacles, but for the most part, you're going to be on the trail. Never blaze your own path. If you need to stack rocks, if you need to winch, if you need a strap from your buddy, that's a much better option than blazing your own trail and going off the prescribed route. We ran Shredder Trail. I'm standing on Bronco Falls right now. This might be a little too much for our UTV. It is gnarly, but really great traction out here. The trails are pretty short. You can run them up, you can run them down. There's exits on either side, so you're never too far from safety if you break something. I was smelling smoke coming off the belt, so we're gonna call it, not do any more rock crawling today, but I'll definitely be back because there is no shortage of obstacles around here to entertain you.
So camping is allowed on BLM lands. We do encourage folks to go past the picnic area to go camping so that the day use folks have a place to park, they have a place to unload, and then they are not driving through your campsite.
The area behind me is where the pavement ends. That's the parking area for day use. You'll see some folks camped there, but it gets pretty crowded on busy weekends. So really the BLM would like you to go further down into the wash to camp. That's what we did. There's a lot of primo sites and they're pretty small, so you'll actually have a little more privacy down there than you would have here. So if you do want to camp in this area, they do allow campfires. You need to bring your own wood though. Don't plan on using any of the vegetation around here. There's no hookups. I mean, this isn't a KOA, you know. There's not water, there's not electricity. You should plan on dry camping, but there are plenty of places for you to bring a trailer, a camper, a van, anything like that out here.
When you are out here camping, of course, we have that leave no trace policy, right? You want to make it look as if you've never been here. So there are trash cans at the 2 local bathrooms that we have within the Logandale Trail areas. They are pit toilets, not flush toilets. They are cleaned at least weekly, but there are trash cans there. And then as you're heading out of Logandale Trails back in towards the town of Logandale, there's usually a dumpster on the right-hand side of the road. Otherwise, if you have large items that do not fit in the dumpster, we ask that you take it with you until you can find a proper place to dispose of it.
It's a lot of fun to be out here in a truck or an SUV, but honestly, I think a UTV is the way to go in Logandale. We covered a bunch of ground today. If you're on a dirt bike, a quad, or a UTV like this, I think it's a much better option. Now, if you're new to OHVs, a good place to start is on the Nevada Outdoor School's website. There they have the Nevada OHV online training course. You can go through that. You'll learn a lot of different things about OHVs. We'll put a link to that in the description below so you don't have to go looking for it. We started on the 13-mile loop and we took an offshoot into Hidden Canyon. Now, some good rock crawling in there. But I will note that there's really no cell service here. I'm using the Onyx app, but I really recommend downloading a map of the area ahead of time. You're likely not gonna have service, and it's a really good way to find your way around when you're out here. All right, that's a wrap on this episode on the Logandale Trail System. Hopefully you learned a thing or two. I know I did. This area is really a jewel. If you have not been here, I highly recommend it. If I lived in Logandale, I would be out here every day ripping around in my OHV. There is so much to see and explore, and it's such a beautiful area that offers not only awesome terrain, but you've got petroglyphs, you've got bighorn sheep, all sorts of cool things to experience in this area beyond just OHVs, but they do a great job of getting you there.